All right. Well, it's another episode of Frank Walks, and I'm here with Mike Buckley, the CEO of US Sail GP. You know, he's going to try to bring back the America's Cup to the United States. We held that thing in its history 175 years. We never used to lose that thing, but now we have to get it back. And this is the guy who's going to bring back the America's Cup. Mike Buckley, let's go for a little walk.
Let's do it.
Frank talks while Frank walks. It's time for Frank Walks.
Have you been to a Sail GP race?
I've never been to a Sail GP race.
Sounds like some of these guys have. In Chicago.
Well, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I see that the America's Cup's going to be in Naples.
The America's Cup is going to be
2027.
in Naples. Yeah, they just announced that the other day.
You know, I always wanted to see Naples. Maybe that'll be an excuse to get out to Naples.
You going to go? Have you ever been?
No, I've never been to Europe.
Never been anywhere in Europe?
Never anywhere in Europe.
Where are you from?
Well, my great-grandparents are actually from Naples.
Seems like that's your time.
That would seem like the time. Okay, once we cross, we'll start the conversation. Okay, let's go.
So Frank, hold on. Can we share a piece of context? Sure, please tell Frank.
So Mike is in Sail GP. He's not in the America's Cup. Sail GP is like a new league. It was made in 2019.
You mean?
And they race it. Essentially, it's like people call it Formula One on the water, where they're racing.
So Sail GP was born out of the America's Cup, but Larry Ellison and Russell Coots created it. So basically in 2016, 2017, the America's Cup was in Bermuda, and Larry and Russell said to the group of America's Cup owners, we need to create a commercially sustainable America's Cup. And when all the other teams said, you know, that they wanted to keep doing the America's Cup, Larry and Russell said, okay, great. We're going to take the boats, we're going to take the people, we're going to take the technology, and we're going to create Sail GP.
Now, would you get back to racing for the America's Cup?
No, so it's a little bit different. It's, you know, from the outside, a lot of people kind of confuse the two, but the America's Cup happens roughly every 4 years.
Yeah.
In Sail GP, we race every month, 14 Grand Prix around the world, and it's totally separate from the America's Cup. Similar boats, although they race monohulls, we race foil and catamarans. And, you know, a lot of the same athletes kind of go back and forth, but we're competing for the Rolex Sail GP Championship, which will be in Abu Dhabi in November.
Now, I see that you have your teams here. Now,
Yep.
These are co-ed teams.
They are. So it's one of the few sports, professional sports, where men and women are competing with and against each other, which you know, we think is really great.
I see Anna, she's a grinder.
She is. She's a grinder, a jib trimmer, and an absolute badass.
Now, what does a
trailblazer.
grinder do on the Sail GP boats?
They hold on to these handles that spin, and when they turn them, that turns a winch in the back of the boat where there's a line wrapped around that controls our wing. So she and one other person supply the power that allows us to trim our wing sail.
Now, there's no motor. This is
No
pure
motor.
sailing. This is the wind.
Yep.
Now, what if there's a day where there's no wind?
Yeah, so that's kind of the only void in kind of the game day equation. And, you know, one of the innovative ideas that the league has come up with is a electric propulsion system in really, really light wind that allows us to pop up on the foils. And they're working on it right now. So it takes very little wind for our boats to hydrofoil, but it takes a little bit more for them to get up on the foils, for you to get rid of enough drag that the boats jump up on their foils, kind of like going down the runway on an airplane. And so these electric engines will just kind of propel the boat to get up on their foils and then shut off. They're testing them right now, but that's kind of, those kind of innovations are what makes Sail GP really cool.
Is this anywhere like Olympic style sailing?
Lot of crossover, but these boats are much bigger. Our boats are 50 feet tall. I'm sorry, 50 feet long, 100 feet tall. Olympics is more kind of small boats, 2 people, 1 person, but a lot of the sailors, like Anna is an Olympian, Hans just won a bronze medal in the last Olympics. Tom Slingsby is an Olympic gold medalist. He's the Australian driver. There's, Ben Ainsley is the most decorated Olympian in our sport. He's the owner of the British team. So a lot of crossover with the Olympics and SailGP.
Now, I'm looking at this, and I saw a video of the boats sometimes tip over. They flip over, they capsize. What is that experience like?
Yeah, I think there's been 11 or 12 capsizes in SailGP history. We've been part of 2 of them. It's after the fact, it's quite scary to think about what you go through, but in the moment, there's no time to think. It happens like that. But we all know the risks. These boats are truly racing on the edge, and you're pushing the limits. And when one or a couple people make a mistake, it can be catastrophic.
Now, how long are these races? How many miles and how long do these races usually last?
Yeah, they're about 16 minutes. So usually we do 2 or 3 laps around a set race course. SailGP brings the racing close to the fans and the fans close to the racing, which is unique in SailGP compared to the America's Cup, where that race.
Yeah, the America's is like it's like 3-4 hour race a day.
Exactly, and it's a little bit farther away, tough to see. So for us, we have grandstands, we have hospitality, and in some of the venues, including here in New York City, we're from here to the cars over there, away from the crowds, and you get to see all the action. It's also on CBS here in the U.S. It's truly revolutionizing the way the sport's viewed. It's like going to a Mets game.
Yes,
right?
When I think about sailing, I think of 2 things. I think of the America's Cup and the Olympics.
Yep.
And so this is now becoming like a more normal race circuit.
Yeah, the America's Cup has great tradition, right? That's why you know about it.
Yeah.
You watched it probably when you were a kid. Dennis Conner.
Yeah, I want to see us get it back. I mean, come on. We're going to it's in Naples. It's in Naples in 2027.
But what makes it hard is that it turns on and turns off, and kind of goes away for 3 or 4 years. And I think the modern fans they want to consume year round, right? And that's how SailGP came in and kind of closed that gap. Maybe the America's Cup is a little bit more like the Ryder Cup, if you will, and SailGP is a little bit more like the PGA Tour, always on. Does that make sense?
Yes, I know. In the olden days, like Ted Turner did the America's Cup.
Yep.
And basically, like the CEO of this would be like Steve Cohen becoming the Mets first baseman, and you're riding the boat. The CEO of the USGP.
Yeah, for me, I competed professionally for almost 20 years, and I found myself, I'd come home on a Monday from a race, and I'd feel like I needed competition in my life. And as I got towards the end of my racing career, I saw an opportunity to put a group together. I have a great partner in Ryan McKillen, and we bought the team from Larry, and this allows me to do things like this on a regular day here in New York City, and talk to sponsors and grow our business, and be competing kind of 24 hours a day when I don't have a race.
Now, how many races are there a year? And you go all over the world. You said the finals in Dubai.
Finals are in Abu Dhabi. We also race in Dubai. There's 14 races. We're going to Geneva for the first time this year. We race in New York City, San Francisco, LA, all over Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Rio. So it's truly a global schedule, which is awesome.
Now, who are the best teams that you have to face week in, week out?
Yeah, the Australians have dominated since the inception of SailGP. They have set the bar year after year. The Kiwis, are right there behind them, and there's a young team from Spain, two Olympic gold medalists on their team, and they won the championship last year. I think they were, kind of caught everybody by surprise, just given kind of they're all young, but they're just super, super talented. So those are kind of the 3 top teams in my opinion.
Now, thank you. Now, what are the odds of this becoming like the next big thing? What do you hope for this sport to become in the American sports lexicon?
Yeah, I think I think it's likely. I think it's already happening. I think if you were to ask the average person 5 years ago if SailGP would have almost 1 million average viewers on CBS on the weekend, they would have told you that you're absolutely crazy. But that's what's happening right now.
Now, are these one-on-one races, or are they basically like everyone races in 16 minutes and the winner is the winner?
Everyone races at the same time. So 12 boats, 12 teams, everyone racing at the same time. Usually you do 4 races on the Saturday, you do 3 on the Sunday, and then they take the top 3 teams and they do a finals, winner take all, and everybody kind of, the other 9
So it's
teams
like
watch that.
a tournament that basically happens within the weekend.
Exactly.
Well, I wish you a lot of success with this, with USGP. You know, it's interesting. This, like I said, I when I first heard this, I said, "Oh, he's going to become the America's Cup."
Yeah.
And that's the first thing when I think about sailing. It's there's only one thing I think of: the America's Cup.
Yeah, and I think it's important, right? Like the America's Cup, the history of the America's Cup it's real, right?
We got to get that thing back.
It's where SailGP was born. Larry Ellison's won the America's Cup multiple times. So has Russell Coutts, the 2 founders of the league. But they said to themselves, we have to make, if we're going to grow our sport, it's got to be commercially sustainable. It's got to be always on. You got to know where to watch it. You got to know, who's going to be in it, and you got to know when, right? And that's the thing that the America's Cup lost track of a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though we've won it back, it's gone back and forth for the last 30 years or so.
Yeah.
We lost it for a while, and got it back, and lost it again. I don't think anyone has even given one thought about the America's Cup since Dennis Conner in 1987 on the cover of Sports Illustrated with Ronald Reagan.
On the cover of Sports Illustrated with Ronald Reagan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was iconic, and he was also on the cover of Time magazine, and with I believe with Reagan as well. He was, he brought a country together because he challenged these billionaires to go, in a sailboat race.
I
right?
mean, the crazy thing about it is it was billionaires.
Yeah.
It was literally in the 70s. It was Ted Turner racing against Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch was Australia. Ted Turner was racing the boats for the USA, and that's how that rivalry started.
Yeah, no.
And it's still
unreal.
going on.
Yeah.
They're grumpy old men these days, and they're still bitter rivals.
But yeah, I mean, he inspired people, right? I mean, that's why you're talking about it. You were inspired by what he did in the 80s, and we want to bring that back in SailGP, and we want to get American sailing to the top of the leaderboard. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, it seems to me the America's Cup belongs to America. We need to get that thing back. But
yes, we do.
Hopefully, SailGP and USGP is a big conduit into building the sport, so we get the cup back and have another 130-year dynasty.
I like the sound of that.
But thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll definitely keep an eye on the sport.
Awesome.